Good day, folks. Richard Dews here from the Flathead Beacon Real Estate Market Trends calling. This is a video depicting a much greater zoom level of the graphics that are in the January 15th, 2020 hard copy and online versions of the Flathead Beacon. Let's get right into it, shall we? In front of you happens to be a high resolution, same color chart that I've depicted in the January 15th, 2020 online and hard copy Flathead Beacons for Real Estate Market Trends. And this happens to be much larger, zoomed in so that you can actually see some of the finer detail of these icons that I'm trying to depict. The icons themselves represent, in circles, 527 active land parcels that are for sale across the Flathead Valley. In this case, the northern Flathead Valley from Flathead County's base and northward up into Whitefish. And these active 1 acre plus parcels are depicted in circle colors that you see on the right hand top third of the legend, where they are depicted in price range per acre and in brackets how many of those price range per acre parcels are in fact for sale currently. And then you'll also notice in triangles, these are withdrawn properties, which means they were actively for sale. They're still likely under contract to sell by a listing agent. However, they are not currently shown as active on the market, so that the days on market counter doesn't keep upticking. They'll probably come back on the market again when they're accessible in the springtime. That being said, those are the triangles, and again, the circles are the ones that are actively being marketed. So looking around the valley on a zoomed out basis, you can see the depiction of the different colors, which are represented in the bottom half of the legend over here. Yellow is city and county government and Department of Transportation, and you can see a couple of those small little pieces around here, especially around the cities themselves. In this case, up by the dump on 93 and down here in Kalispell proper, and then down in the lower valley, just north of the highway between Summers and Bigfork. And in pink, we depict Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. There's a couple of those up here, up farm to market, as you can see. And National State Trust lands conservation, if you will, are the light green up here west and north of Whitefish proper and Whitefish Lake, some scatterings out western as well, and over here near Echo Lake and so forth on the East Valley. And National Park Service, this is the bottom and western edges of Glacier National Park with Highway 2 along the base. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is in orange. You can see that on the northern shore of Flathead Lake down here and out west past Marion, Kyla, and so forth, and you can see it further out west here. I'm also depicting U.S. Forest Service in the medium green. That's the majority of what you see out here in the lands where you can hunt, fish, camp, hike, and so forth, as long as it's not on motorized unless it's permitted by the signage. And managed timberlands. The red is all of this Weyerhaeuser, what used to be Plum Creek. And these squares are 640 acres apiece. And these indicate 1 square mile for those squares. And you're talking 980 square miles that has been in contract to sell between Weyerhaeuser and SPP. And that's property that is in transition of ownership and not knowing what's going to happen to it for development. Finally, not Weyerhaeuser timberlands such as Stolz and Stimson, you see up here in the northern valley, the south of the Whitefish Range, between Sea Falls and Whitefish, and also west out here, west of Farm to Market, Roads Draw, and so forth, and a couple of smatterings in the Lakeside area and out west. Okay, what are these red lines? The red lines depict power generation and power transmission conduits from the Hungry Horse Dam here at the northwestern edge of the dam of Hungry Horse Reservoir, and you can see them coming out and traversing across and up the valley towards Eureka, and also from Sea Falls up into Columbia Falls aluminum plant up here, and then down the East Valley, down the Central Valley, on down past Flathead Lake and out west, Lake McGregor and so forth. Now, let's zoom in so we can see a better depiction of any geography. And this is massively zoomed in. This happens to be Kalispell proper. As you can see, these lines are so small and the pieces of land are so small that it almost look like hair. A lot of yellow for city and county properties here. A little bit of state trust lands along the Flathead River. Flathead River is depicted in blue. Got some Forest Service up here across the river as well. You can even see in the base map underneath these parcel edges, you can see the center pivot of farmlands and so forth out here in the farm to market area. And again, here's the double transmission high tension power lines that go across Reserve over by Chick-fil-A and Discount Tire and so forth. Now, if you look at in this rendering, much zoomed in, you can see where these pieces of land are actively for sale, $75,000+ an acre, north of Kalispell. This is that new skiing area for water skiing. This is going up LaSalle on the east side of Kalispell with the Plum Creek Warehouser plant here. And then there's a couple over here, looks like near the Ponderosa area, north of Kalispell. 93 goes up this way here. And then you've got Silverbrook over in here. A couple of cheaper parcels out here out west in the Marion area. Look at this one way out here, and that one's $5,000 or less an acre. Amazing. A couple out here on Farm to Market as well, Rhodes Draw area and so forth. East side over here, it's interesting, there's a cheap piece per acre that's out here directly under the power lines. A couple out here on the east side of the valley as well. Let's go now to the Happy Valley and KM Ranch area. So I got Happy Valley on the right. Here's 93 traversing northward towards Whitefish. Happy Valley is these smaller, equal-sized property lots and so forth over here. And then over here in the KM Ranch area, this is all your farm to market area with the river. You'll see there's some nice sized parcels in this region that are anywhere from 15,000 to 35,000 an acre. There's some on the far west out here at Farm to Market as well that are in the looks like the $15,000 to $25,000 per acre. Some cheap parcels in here on a basis of comparison per acre price. These are in the $5,000 to $10,000 per acre. Some large tract parcels. And now northern into Whitefish proper. The Whitefish area, you see again city and county properties and some DOT around here. Whitefish Lake here, Big Mountain proper up here, Ptarmigan Village, lots for sale, $75,000+ an acre. There's lots of Stimson Stoltz land up here, and there's a nice piece that's, I believe, 40 acres here. That's somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 an acre on three side, bordered by forest, timberlands, managed timber. Out here, up 93, going north towards Stryker area, you'll see a number of parcels available on either side of the river. Good sized parcels, and they're going to be between 10 and looks like 25,000 per acre. Most of the stuff that's around Whitefish is obviously in the $75,000+ per acre, but there are some exceptions. Now, if you look along the power lines, there's often some things that are more cheaply priced along there. You got a couple down here that are in the 25 to 50K per acre range. Whether it's because they're under the power lines, I couldn't tell you. Now let's go over to Columbia Falls. Heading east from Whitefish, you got CFAC up here on the top right and the power lines that traverse and feed it. This is the train tracks BNSF going towards Whitefish up this way. And this is the Flathead River going on the east side of town. And this is Highway 2 coming down and going across the river. There's a nice parcel out here that you've seen on the north side of the highway. Looks like it's between 25 and 50K per acre there. I believe that's a 10-acre tract if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got some Plum Creek Warehouser over here, and obviously the big factor for MDF here. A little bit of managed timberlands that are non-Warehouser, Stoltz Stimson up in here. Piece that was removed off of market probably for the winter for accessibility and not have the ticker go up. That is a withdrawn over here, the triangle. Another one, $75,000+ per acre down here near the Flathead River on the south side of town. Reasonably inexpensive property right under those double high tension power lines here. And a couple of others around here and here, a cheap piece there. Now let's go south and go down Highway 206. This is where Highway 206 comes down west of Lake Blaine, and you can imagine there's woodies here. You can hang a westerly direction, go towards Kalispell, the river bridges over here, or you could hang a left coming down Highway 35, and this traverses down across the S-curve and down into the area past the green box recycling site and so forth, waste disposal site down here by many lakes. You can see there are many lakes in there. And over here, there's a subdivision that's got numerous parcels currently active between 35 and $75,000+ per acre. Up in here, there's a number in the $50,000+ range, it looks like, in Sweetgrass. There's a couple out here along Foothill Road, looks like. There's a couple of varying prices. In many lakes, there's a couple of varying prices. Let's go south now into Bigfork. Bigfork area has got quite a lot of U.S. Fish and Wildlife land reservations that are on the North Shore, and a couple of Montana Fish and Wildlife Parks area as well. And this is where 35 is intersected with the highway that goes towards Summers, and 35 coming into town along this way into Bigfork proper. And you'll see there's quite a lot of diversity of parcels for sale that are active on the market. Anywhere from $75,000+ an acre in this region, and also close into town here on the east side of Bigfork, just south of the Swan Highway. And then over in Eagle Bend, the majority are $75,000+ an acre, but there are some exceptions. Up here, you got 35 to 50K per acre, close to the river. A couple of the same price over here, just off of Highway 35. Now let's go on the western shore of Flathead Lake, just across the lake to the west. This is the Lakeside area. A couple of power lines going north to south, well west of the highway. 93 is along the lake shore over here on this side. Obviously, anything that's right along the lake shore is $75,000+ per acre. That's probably an understatement. But there's numerous subdivisions that are up in here that have sizable parcels that are anywhere from $20,000 to $75,000 an acre. This one is a little bit cheaper, perhaps because the power lines traverse it. Less expensive parcel over here, and then down this way, there's sizable parcels in this subdivision as well, and they look like they're 35 to 50K an acre on general, but there are a couple of exceptions to that on the cheaper western sides. That's it, folks. If you have any questions, give me a shout, richard.dews@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Leave comments, like the video, share, please, and subscribe. There'll be more of these each week. Thanks, and have a good day.